I knew a guy in a wheelchair that used to tell people it was elephantiasis of the testicles, whenever they'd ask what confined him there. That's a ballsy reply. I do not have cause to do this, but I applaud you for it. Folks need to wonder about themselves more often. The best answer is the cancer one. I have used it more than once. Always when there is a crowd. I have a twitch. My go-to story is that I'm a test tube baby, but the doctor was a crackhead and got the tubes mixed up one time. Brilliant. I have a massive surgery scar on my back. College roommate saw it when I went to shower and asked about it. I said, "What scar?" and pretended I thought he was just messing with me. Then I looked in the mirror and said, "See, there's nothing th. Oh my God, what is that?" And that's how my college roommate came to the conclusion that I had been abducted by aliens. Oh shit. That is fucking awesome. All 4 of my kids were premature. They were pretty small. By the time they were running around and saying words, they still looked a lot younger than what they were. People would comment how little they were to be running around, and they'd ask me how old my kid is. I'd reply, "She's 1. When they looked at me with disbelief, I'd follow up with, "Yeah, she's a little advanced for her age." The worst comment was when my infant daughter was on a heart monitor. Some lady asked my wife, "What's wrong with your kid?" My wife said that she was premature, and the lady responded, "Oh, I didn't know she was slow." WTF? The best comment was when my son had an ing tube. Some old guy looked at him, looked at me, and said, "Does he have sinuses?" I had sinuses once. Poor kid. Same with my kids and wife. We married at 20, but my wife has always looked extremely young because she's very petite and has EDS, so that her skin is like an infant's. She used to be asked by the waitress if she wanted the children's menu. What was even worse was when they asked me if she should have a child's menu. Shit was gonna hit the fan then. It bothered me only because it bothered my wife. I'm well over 6 feet and she's under 5 feet. The kids each took after her, even the EDS. Small adults, but brilliant students and independent thinkers. I'm so proud of each of my little aliens. Lol. My husband knew a guy with a cool bionic leg. He said most people don't want to ask, but he loved it when someone would, because then he could talk about how badass his leg was. One time I was at a fast food place to pee during a long road trip. There was a dude at the counter wearing shorts with a ton of small tattoos on just one leg. Then realized it was a prosthetic and the tattoos were stickers. Made my night. Wherever you are out there, rock on, sticker dude. My dad lost part of a finger in some kinda geared mechanism in the barn when he was about 3. When he was involved with scouts, he told the kids that he lost it in a mishap with an axe chopping wood. About a year ago I started using a cane. Thanks Lime, coworkers would ask me what happened. I would say that my mechanical exoskeleton was on backorder. I had a coworker that lost an index finger. He would tell people, "Don't do the pull my finger joke to a gorilla." My middle daughter was born with a clubbed foot. She had to wear a cast for a few months when she was about 5 months old. People asked constantly. I started amusing myself. Baby snowboarding, baby skydiving, baby rock climbing, baby kart racing, etc. Baby Krav Maga. My dad did the same thing but with a scar. He's a scary guy to begin with. Super tall, long hair, was in a band, and used to be a biker with all the leather gear and shit. He got his neck sliced open as a teenager with sheet metal and it left a 6-in long angry-looking scar. He's since got treatment to help with lingering pain and the redness, but it was pretty scary looking for a while. So he would fuck with people and tell them he was in a knife fight and they should have seen how the other guy turned out. That's pretty badass. I was on crutches for nearly a year and I used to tell people it was a tragic underwater basket weaving accident. I was the only one to make it out alive. Did you ever finish your degree in UBW, or did you drop out early? I and my siblings are all disabled, as was my dad. We're all semi-confined to wheelchairs. Yes, that's a thing. Anytime we walk, it's with a funny waddling gait, akin to a penguin. Learned early on from my dad that whenever someone was being nosy or rude and asked what was wrong with, to look them square in the eye and deadpan tell them, "I got hit by a train." You should see someone's reaction when you say that. Laughing face. My wife had breast cancer, so after surgery she had chemo and her hair fell out. Since it was colder with no hair, she was wearing a scarf. Some moron at the post office yelled out to her, "Hey, what kind of cancer do you have?" After being initially stunned, she yelled back, "Anal." The person immediately blushed and left the line. My wife knew the postmaster and she started clapping. It is great when you make them flee the scene. Have had a couple instances in the grocery line where the offensive party left their full cart and booked it. I have large scars on various parts of my body. If someone asks me how I got them, I don't find it rude. They are curious. And I answer them with the truth and then show them all of my other scars. When I tell the truth, people either don't believe me, become super depressed, or incredibly angry. My grandfather lost part of his left hand when my dad was 10. After my sibling and I were born, Grandpa told us he lost it to a dog biting it off, which made us cautious around dogs. When I was 20, I was talking about it with my dad and he got quiet. Then he told me the real reason my grandpa lost his hand, which was that his hand got caught in machinery at the factory he worked at. I didn't know if I was more shocked that I believed the dog story or the horrific nature of the true accident. Sucks that it caused you to be weary of dogs. Had a guy in my restaurant with an eye patch wearing a t-shirt that said, "Ask me about my eye patch, $20. I actually made an eye patch that said, "Your ad here." I figured if people stared at it all the time, I should also make some money. My nephew, autistic, blind, non-verbal, has no eyes due to birth defect. Always had people saying what's wrong with his eyes. Alex learned to open his eyes wide and smile at people because he loved their reactions. I've helped a few times by gasping, "What happened to your eyes?" FYI. When he does that, it just shows the pink inside, so can be very weird unless you're used to it. And we got spacers in back of socket but skipped the glass eyes. Alex hated the outer spacers and we loved him as is. I just almost pissed myself laughing. As a Caribbean American woman, married to an American physician, lived in 5 upscale neighborhood. Within minutes of meeting some folks, I get some presumptuous questions and they are almost always identical. And yes, I have fun with them. Here we go. Within minutes of meeting. "What does your husband do?" Me. "Oh, he is a drug dealer." Acquaintance. "Why have you lived in so many states?" Me. "Oh, we are in the witness protection program." Barely acquainted. "Knows my husband's occupation. How did you two meet?" Me. "Arranged marriage. Our moms were best friends and you know the rest." All with a poker face, open mouth smile, fearful face. When you can deliver it total deadpan, they will be more likely to believe you. My great-grandfather had only the last phalanx of each finger left. When asked what happened, he would often reference a German folktale about a boy who kept sucking on his thumb until either A, fairy turned it into a sugar candy and he diluted it with his salvia, or B, his nanny got annoyed and cut it off. What actually happened? He was a POW in World War II and they did some grim things to him. Fuck. My pinky fingers are bent. I was born this way, so I forget that to other people it looks like I have broken fingers. It's not something that gets noticed often, but I'm not a big high five giver. One time I was riding the city bus and was holding the pole while standing in the center aisle. A lady said, "Oh no. What happened to your finger? It looks so messed up." So I replied by shrieking, "Oh my God. Oh my God. What happened to my finger? Oh no. I can't believe I didn't notice that before." And then I got off the bus. I'm not quite sure what I was going for, but the look of horror on her face has kept me going for like 20 years. I wish I could do something like that. But I can just make them feel like an asshole. Sorry people are rude to you and sorry you feel affected by that. But you've got a great sense of humor and your brain must have a million synapses for coming up with new retorts every single time. Honestly, I think that an eye patch people consider more of a costume so they don't feel like they need to be sensitive when they see you. They come right out and talk to you about it. Someone else who's in a wheelchair or limping and dragging their leg behind them. Most people would not approach that person and ask them, "What happened to you?" Haha, you could not be more wrong, my friend. I am a wheelchair user and 2/3 times I leave the house, 99% if I get a taxi equivalent. I get asked a variation on what happened to you. What's wrong with you? What have you done to yourself? Etc. This also happened when I was only using crutches or a rollator. I am not the exception amongst wheelchair users experiencing this lull. So what happened to your eye? He got eye cancer from not eating his vegetables. And just as he was recovering from that, he held his pee in too long and it just filled up his body until the pressure popped the eyeball straight out. Obviously. So you're like that guy from Ratatouille who always changes the story about how he got arrested. Yeah. But with a twist. All the answers I gave them were technically true depending on how you look at it.